My closest friend accused my partner of being unfaithful and spread rumors that he contacted her late at night with inappropriate messages after we became a couple, all because she disapproved of him. Sarah, 22F, and I, 21F, connected 3 years ago during an internship and quickly became inseparable. About a year ago, I developed feelings for James, 24M, who works in a different department at the same company Sarah, and a mutual colleague played matchmaker last autumn, and James and I clicked instantly. We've since fallen deeply in love and often discuss building a future together. But this is where things took a complicated turn. From the moment James and I became official, Sarah's attitude toward me shifted. She became distant and never hid her dislike for James, though she never explicitly explained why. The only specific issue she mentioned was early in our relationship when James had a serious health episode due to a chronic condition. I was preparing for the MCAT at the time, just weeks away from the exam, when James had a severe flare-up. Knowing how close Sarah and I were, he reached out to her to ask if he should tell me about his condition or keep it quiet to avoid distracting me from studying. Sarah found this completely inappropriate. She told me she thought it was wrong for him to contact her about something so personal. I felt her reaction was a bit extreme, but I discussed it with James, who apologized to her and never reached out again. However, Sarah wouldn't let it go. A few weeks later, at a gathering, she made a snide remark about me prioritizing James over my friends. She noted that since my roommate was out of town the following week, she might as well say goodbye because I'd likely spend all my time with James. She tried to pass it off as a joke, but I was taken aback by her feelings. I never wanted to be someone who abandons friends for a relationship, and I'd been making a conscious effort to balance my time between James and my social circle. Feeling that Sarah might be hurt, I doubled down on our friendship. Over the next few weeks, I tried to make plans with her at least 5 or 6 times. Each time, she had an excuse to avoid me, even canceling last minute once, claiming a forgotten meeting at 10 a.m. on a Sunday. I was hurt. It felt like our friendship was fading and every attempt to mend it was rebuffed. Eventually, I decided to stop chasing her. If she wanted to stay friends, she'd have to make the effort. She never did. At work, things got worse. We were assigned to the same year-long project, which required close collaboration. As our friendship deteriorated, Sarah began ignoring me, acting curt, and making my tasks unnecessarily difficult. It felt like she was constantly watching for me to slip up. I suspected she was talking about me behind my back, but I was too drained to care. I decided to stay polite and patient, counting down the days until the internship ended. Then, today, everything came to light. I had lunch with another coworker and good friend, Liam, 22M, who shared what he'd heard. Apparently, Sarah had been telling our colleagues and friends that James was trying to cheat on me with her. She claimed he called her late at night, sent inappropriate messages, and at a party I hosted after my MCAT, he was staring at her all evening. I know none of this is true. I love James and I trust him completely. Even as Liam recounted this, I knew Sarah was lying. Liam didn't seem to believe her either. He was just relaying what he'd heard. But the idea that Sarah had been spreading these lies about James for months made me sick. I went to James's place and told him everything, reassuring him that I didn't doubt him for a second. The real betrayal was Sarah fabricating these stories and sharing them with others. I was devastated to learn that not only had Sarah said these things, but she'd been telling my friends for months, and none of them told me. James helped me move past the hurt, and now I'm just furious. Tomorrow, I plan to call my supervisor and request to work remotely until my contract ends, so I never have to face Sarah again. Am I overreacting? Should I take the high road and keep working with Sarah as if I'm unaware? I also feel betrayed by my other friends, as Liam believes they all knew what Sarah was saying and didn't tell me. Should I cut them off like I plan to cut off Sarah? Comment where Op replied, user Sunny Skies 22. Have you considered that Sarah's claims might be true? What did James say about it? Did he offer to show you his phone or messages? Playing devil's advocate here, but a true friend would tell you directly if your partner was acting inappropriately, not gossip. No judgment on dropping her. Op's response. I genuinely don't believe Sarah's claims. James has offered multiple times to let me see his phone, but I've declined because I trust him, and we both think her accusations are ridiculous. He's been nothing but honest with me and has been urging me for weeks to distance myself from Sarah because of how she's treated me. I don't want to confront her now because I'm too angry, and like you said, a real friend would have come to me directly. I also trust Liam. He's not the type to spread rumors, and he wouldn't have known about James's call to Sarah unless she told him a twisted version of it. Update, July 8, 2025. A year later, I'm still uncovering more about how Sarah tried to sabotage my life. First, the good news. The internship ended smoothly. I didn't confront Sarah or involve HR as some suggested. Instead, I spoke to our supervisor, explaining that our personal relationship had soured, leading to workplace tension, and provided specific examples without diving into personal drama. He was supportive, allowed me to work from home for the rest of the summer, wrote me a stellar recommendation, and I landed a job in my dream department at the company while finishing my degree and applying to medical school. I've been accepted to a top program, and James and I are planning to marry after I graduate. Our relationship is stronger than ever. Sarah moved abroad, but stayed connected with our internship friend group. After last year's events, I gradually distanced myself from that circle, realizing I'd outgrown many of them. As I stepped back, I noticed their unkind, immature, and toxic behaviors toward each other and themselves. I kept the few friends who truly supported me, leaving the internship with a small group of loyal friends instead of a large circle with questionable character. One friend, Mia, 22F, who was close to Sarah a year ago, recently shared more of what Sarah said behind my back, partly confirming Liam's account and adding shocking details. To make her lies more believable, Sarah claimed she'd been in contact with my longtime friend and roommate, Emily, 22F. Sarah told people Emily disliked James, said I spent too much time with him, neglected my friends, and that he practically lived at our apartment. She even claimed Emily thought James was faking his chronic illness, and I used it as an excuse to ditch plans. Once, when James had a flare-up at our place, I canceled plans to stay with him in case he needed medical attention. Sarah told everyone Emily said he didn't seem sick, and I only canceled to hang out with him. When Mia shared this, I immediately confronted Emily, who denied saying any of it. She and Sarah had occasional contact over the years due to shared interests, but Emily reviewed their messages and found nothing that could be misconstrued as Sarah claimed. Looking through Emily's messages with Sarah, we noticed a pattern. Whenever I told Sarah I was unavailable, she texted Emily to ask if I was with James. This started early in my relationship with him. For those wondering why Emily didn't tell me sooner, she didn't find it odd at the time. I often let my phone die, so friends sometimes contact Emily or James to reach me. But Sarah specifically asking if I was with James, combined with her lies about Emily's words, was suspicious. Reflecting on this, I know I wasn't a perfect friend to Sarah. Early in my relationship with James, and during MCAT prep, I was less available. Maybe I could have confronted her sooner or been more attuned to her feelings. I miss her and wish things had ended differently, but she wasn't fair to me either. If I pulled back initially, she should have given me grace or addressed it directly instead of spreading lies, making work difficult, or attacking James's and Emily's reputations. I recently heard Sarah tried to return to our city and applied to our company but was rejected by every department. Am I wrong for feeling a bit satisfied? Thanks for the support last year. It meant a lot. Now I'm looking for lessons to learn. Could I have handled things differently? How can I be a better friend moving forward? Next story. My cousin abandoned her 4 young children at our doorstep at 7 a.m. in freezing weather so she could go on a cruise, then got furious when authorities removed her from the ship. And now our family blames me for ruining her life. This happened hours ago. My partner and I, childless, often hear from my cousin, who has 4 minor kids, that we have too much free time. She recently joked that we should watch her kids while she went on a cruise with her new partner. We laughed it off, thinking it was absurd. This morning, a long weekend, we heard knocking at 7 a.m. Expecting no one, I opened the door to find my cousin's 4 kids standing in the cold, without jackets or their mother. I brought them inside, asked where she was, and they said she told them we'd care for them while she was on her cruise, so they took a bus to our house. I was stunned. I called her. Her phone was off. Her boyfriend's phone went to voicemail. The kids explained she said we had no responsibilities and would look after them. I called my aunt, who repeated that my cousin claimed I'd agreed to take the kids. She hadn't even dropped them off herself, letting them travel alone in winter. I'm considering contacting Child Services. Update 1, June 10, 2025. Hours after the kids arrived, we fed them, turned on the heater, and got them settled. Still no word from their mother or her boyfriend. Around 10:30 a.m., police called, asking if I had 4 kids at my home. I explained everything a bus driver, concerned after the kids mentioned staying with family and gave our address, reported it for a welfare check due to their lack of jackets or bags. Police and child services arrived, professional and thorough. I showed them my cousin's joking texts, explained we had no prior agreement, and the kids said she told them we'd be happy to take them later. Police informed me they located her at the cruise terminal, already boarded for a 3:30 p.m. departure. They removed her from the ship and ordered her to come immediately. She arrived at our house, dressed for a cruise, completely unapologetic. She accused me of overreacting by involving police and ruining her vacation. My aunt called, furious, saying I'd wasted her money since she funded the trip. Neither showed concern for the kids' child services took my statement, warning my cousin of a neglect investigation. She dismissed it, took the kids, and left without gratitude or apology. I tried explaining to her and my aunt that I didn't call the authorities, but they wouldn't listen and blocked my number update too, June 11, 2025. Things have escalated further. Child services followed up, revealing they'd contacted the kids' biological father, who lives in regional NSW. He'd been paying child support and trying to stay involved, but my cousin blocked his efforts. Furious about her abandoning the kids, he drove to Sydney that night. He visited us the next morning, genuinely concerned. We discussed what happened, and he shared his frustration with my cousin's behavior over the years. He's now seeking full custody, citing this incident and years of documented issues. I told him I support him. The kids deserve better. He thanked us for caring for them when no one else did. Then, last night, our car's tires were slashed. No note, no witnesses, and we lack cameras, but we're checking with neighbors for footage. A family member called yesterday, blaming us for turning the family against my cousin, so we suspect a connection. We reported it to the police. The family believes her side, and we're exhausted from doing the right thing. I'm considering a public post to clarify everything, as this is getting serious. Final update. Last night at 7:30 p.m., my cousin's eldest, 11, showed up alone at our door with just a school bag, no jacket or phone. He said his mom told him to stay with us if he didn't like living with her boyfriend. We brought him in, fed him, and called the police. He described his mom yelling all day, locking herself in her room and neglecting them. He remembered feeling safe at our house and wanted to return. Police and child services acted swiftly, removing the other kids from her home and questioning her. There's now an active investigation into neglect and abandonment. This morning, my aunt stormed to our house, accusing me of destroying the family and stealing the kids. She claimed the cruise was her daughter's first joy in years, and I ruined it. We closed the door and reported it, with police advising us to document everything and consider a restraining order. The kid's father's lawyer contacted me, asking for a statement and character reference for his custody case. I agreed immediately. The eldest hugged my partner before leaving with child services, saying, "You made me feel safe." That meant everything. We're stepping back emotionally, but will cooperate as needed. Doing the right thing hasn't been easy, but we don't regret helping those kids. I'll update if anything significant happens.